As you rightly said, I'm Edna Owusu Bempah, from the University of Education, Winneba. I'm a lecturer and I'm presenting on the title, The Online Information Behavior of First Year PhD Students Addressing SDG 4. So this is how my presentation outline will look like. So the whole argument is that information science is concerned about the behavior of information seekers. And for this reason, researchers have had some interest in the information seeking behavior of different stakeholders. And when we come specifically to higher educational institutions, academic libraries are in the forefront of helping to support their institutions in terms of teaching, in terms of learning, in terms of researching. And in this day and age, because of the advent of digital technologies, academic libraries are in a position to provide electronic information, so information in their electronic format. And because of that, the whole debate about getting to know more about the information seeking behavior of users, of stakeholders, and specifically students in the sphere of academic institutions or higher educational institutions is very important, which calls for this study, where we are not only looking at the electronic format that these institutions use to provide, academic libraries use to provide information. Our concern is also how students can use other online search engines, other electronic databases to access relevant information. Beyond just accessing relevant information, the focus of this study is on first year PhD students because they are studying to be highly qualified academics in their area of study. And it's very important that in them seeking to be highly qualified in their field, we get to know how they successfully learn, how they are able to research. And this is made possible by looking at their behavior when they are online, how they seek information online, by finding out their information needs. So this study is very important. And when we look at specifically the African context and the Ghanaian context, a lot of studies haven't been done. Mohammed has done something in 2020. Asogwa and Daniel 2021 did a study, but their focus was not specifically on first year PhD students. So this makes this study relevant. Beyond that too, a study of this nature helps to achieve the whole goal of sustainable development for, which is looking at providing high quality education. And when high quality education is provided and that goal, SDG goal 4 is achieved, there's that level of inclusivity in the society, equitability, gender equality, because when people are educated, they are in a position to support their societies, making such societies sustainable, especially given the African context. So the research objectives of this study covered factors that influence online information behavior of first year PhD students, their information needs, then the challenges they face as first year PhD students, and their perception in relation to what they consider appropriate and what they consider inappropriate when they are online. So a literature review was done and the focus covered information. What do you mean by information needs? What do you mean by information seeking behavior? Then what are the information sources and obstacles that first year PhD students are likely to face? Mansell has done a study on information need, and in his view, it's a conscious effort or an unconscious one to access information. Then information seeking behavior in Wilson's view. And Wilson even has a module on information seeking behavior. His concentration is what is the style that the information seeker is using to obtain information. And when the information seeker is able to obtain that information, it helps to update and develop the knowledge base of such an individual. Then the study, per the literature review, identified that the main sources of information in the area of higher educational institutions covers books or some information sources, videos, lecture notes, handouts, internet, projects, CD-ROM bases, and journals. And the challenge identified in the Ghanaian setting, or these poses as obstacles in accessing information, includes the inadequate electrical supply at libraries if need be, challenges with the internet, which affects the productivity level of postgraduate students. And in Botswana, a study was done by Ajiboye in 2007, and he also figured out that when the information seeking skills, which we can categorize as the digital literacy skills of the information seeker, is also poor, it affects their ability to access information. So the research methodology that was adopted is there. It covers a qualitative approach. Then a grounded theory design was used, where the researcher started by doing open coding, then axial coding, selective coding, then eventually a theory based on the finding. The constructivist paradigm was equally used because it allows the researcher to understand the world of human experience. Data collection, the researcher relied on semi-structured interview guides, which allows room for some level of flexibility. 10 PhD, first year PhD students were sampled out of a population of 90, and the basis for the 10 was because at a point the researcher got to the saturation point where we were not getting any additional insight. And Glasser and Strauss buttresses that in 2017, that when you get to the point of saturation, you don't have to add to that. Then the convenience and purposive sampling techniques were also used. This is a distribution of the sample, the 10 first year PhD students who were used. Then a distribution of the sex, 6 of them were males and 4 of them. So the key findings from the study under in terms of the influence on online information behavior, we realize that the first findings suggest that first year PhD students are saddled with so much, and for that reason they are always online. And the second finding was that their digital literacy skills is sub you can say that it's not too high. It's subjective, debatably. So the one who has high digital literacy skills is in an advantage position when he or she is online. Then the third finding was that physical traits and past experiences also influence the online information behavior of first year students. And some first year students, even though they are full-time students, they also work, and that affects them as well. So there are some quotations that were captured to depict these findings. Then, based on objective two, a number of findings were also came out, but key among them was the fact that the information needs of first year students are not too segregated, in that it covers academics, entertainment, politics, religion, family. These are the main areas. And the sources of information also basically covered Google Scholar, Google Sakai, Sci-Hub, PDFDrive.com, EBSCOhost, Agora, Emerald. Then we also figured that Wikipedia was a source that a lot of them didn't see as a verifiable source, and they had concerns about that. And there are some quotations to buttress that. Then barriers to the access of online information. Finding A suggests that limited internet bundle, information overload, poor network connectivity, poor digital literacy skills were all some of the challenges that first year PhD students were facing, and their views on appropriate and inappropriate online behavior. Some of them are of the view that when you go online and you use your access to the internet to get do malicious activities, then you are not acting appropriately. And on the other hand, when you go online and you act responsibly, in a situation where you visit approved sites, you don't visit unapproved sites, and you also have high digital literacy skills, then it can be argued that you are behaving appropriately. So the whole discussion centers around the literacy levels of first year PhD students and some challenges that they face when they are online. So there's the need for university authorities, and specifically libraries to protect the privacy of library patrons, since we know that there are some bad individuals out there who can use the internet inappropriately. And beyond that too, because some first year PhD students have poor digital literacy skills, there's a need for training, then there's the need for provision of access to some closed databases so that they could work successfully when they are online. So based on these findings, the researcher came up with this theory, which is looking at technology adoption, digital literacy skills, technological. So if somebody decides to go online, the person that decided to adopt that technology, and given the digital literacy skills of that individual and the challenges he or she faces, if there are any technologically, if there are none, and the experience of that person, he or she can be successful when the person is online. Then given the physical traits of the individual, is the person too old, is the person physically fit to be online, is the eyesight of the person good enough, then the information need of that individual, all of that comes together to inform the ease of use of that online platform or information source, right from the acquisition of that information, how the person will even go about storing the information, and eventually if he or she decides to dispose it of, then all that dovetails into the online information behavior of the individual in question. Then the online information behavior over here, we can also say that embedded in there is the demand on the information system in question that the person is using, or the online information sources that the person is relying on. So the limitation and direction for future studies should focus on other tertiary institutions, since the study was just focused on the public university, which is the University of Ghana. And comparative studies can also be done subsequently. These are the references which were used. Thank you.